Welcome to the Girl Dad Show.
Welcome to the Girl Dad Show, a professional parenting podcast. Each month, I interview entrepreneurs, leaders, and professionals who are balancing parenthood, life, and profession in the hopes to learn what it takes to be an amazing professional parent. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Girl Dad Show. Today is going to be another Girl Dad Talk where I will talk about my professional parenting journey in between interviews with amazing executives, entrepreneurs, and guests. And so I want to talk to you a little bit today about what's on my mind and what's been going on and how things have been going for me as my new year has evolved. And so I think I went into the new year pretty excited about a lot of the things that I learned last year. It was a really tumultuous year for me with just a lot of the changes in the economic climate, especially as it hit the tech community. And I experienced, drastic layoffs and, had to recover from that and then pivot and figure things out. And then now coming into the new year, I have accepted a full-time position that I'll be announcing sometime in January and packaging up my consulting business and working with Jamie to, lateralize my customers to her. And there's just a lot of things that are in transition and flux this year. And it's been a very, very interesting journey. Coupling that with the fact that I just spent about a week and a half with my family. And that is really the big thing that I want to talk about today and just how fun that was. It was really, 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 really interesting to be able to visit my parents and stay with them over the New Year's break and celebrate, the Korean traditions of New Year's and have my kids experience what it's like to bow, to pay your respects to the elders and, receive money and well wishes from them and wear their hanboks, their Korean dresses and, get to experience, the Korean side of their family because ever since we moved to Texas almost 2.5 years ago, we haven't visited my parents. And it's just been one of those things that you don't really think about and you just don't you think about it, but you don't really consider the impact of it, both for the kids, but also for myself. And having my brother there, my sisters there, and the whole Han clan was together, for, 6 days and celebrating, New Year's and doing Korean traditional things and eating Korean food and hanging out with all the cousins and was just really, really amazing. My kids loved it. They're still talking about it to this day. I just woke up this morning and Grace was like, oh, I wish I was at, Harmony's house, which is grandma in Korean, and talking about how fun it was there and all the cousins and how much they enjoyed that time. And I think it's really, really great that they can connect now the person, the place with the Zoom calls and the video conferencing that we've been doing with them. It was also really, really fun for me. I never really thought about how much it meant to me to be a part of a community, my family community, until I went back, after 2.5 years with my whole family and I saw my whole family and we spent, time together because we're pretty mechanical as a family, I believe. We're pretty objective and we're also very unemotional in a lot of ways. And it is really, really interesting that although we have that kind of ability to communicate through text and group text and chats and maintain a really great relationship that way, just being able to bond with them like that was just something that really filled my heart up and helped me realize that I was missing that part of my life. And so I came back, from the New Year's and visiting them just physically exhausted because travel was terrible. It was the worst time to travel ever with the Southwest debacle. And we flew Southwest and it's a 13-hour travel day with kids. And oh yeah, they even evacuated the airport. I've never experienced that before. I've experienced delays and gate changes, but never an evacuation of an airport. That was wild. But it was just a physically exhausting experience, right? Because I'm not comfortable, it's not, I don't know. I guess most people might be comfortable at their parents' house, but I was not. And, the internet's not good. So, I wasn't able to get as much work done as I wanted. And so that added anxiety and stress and, lack of sleep. And then my kids were getting, jacked up with digital media and sweets and candy and stuff from the grandparents spoiling them. And so physically it was exhausting, but emotionally it was so filling. I came back so satiated and so happy, tired, but just like filled up in a different way. And it really made me really think about, my goal to kind of even out, my life a little bit this year and dial down the business building and the revenue building for time and time with family. And it really makes me glad I made that decision this year, and to slow down the growth of my goals, right? So like slow this process down and make up for some of that degradation in time with family, and really figuring out what that looks like this year is going to be a big goal of mine. And I think it's going to be simple as like visiting them. It could be even just like taking, combining different things together. Like I really want to do one-on-one trips with my girls, and maybe I can even use one of those to visit family, which could be really fun as well too. But there's a lot of ways to do this, but I do want to make sure that I'm incorporating more of that this year. And another big thing that my family used to do is that we used to go on these annual vacations together. My dad would just basically gather the whole clan, even as we got older, and he would take us all to a big vacation. And we just stopped ever since the pandemic. And it looks like we're going to start again this year. So I'm expecting that to pick back up this year. And that's going to be amazing for me to see my family at least once a year for sure. And then for my kids to basically grow up knowing that, they have other side of the family, because I don't think they've really visited them since, Lily was 3, and although she knows them, I'm not entirely sure she like really had a relationship with them, because for the majority of her, like toddler life, she's been here. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm really, really excited about that, and just so grateful for the family time. And I think it's also really great that Amy's dad and mom are also visiting us, and just kind of recognizing that, how nice and great that is to have that happen, because at least my kids are growing up knowing both sides of their grandparents, and getting that family time and building that family community. And even though we live here on our own without our network, and we made that leap of doing that, it seems like in some ways we're figuring out ways to counteract that and compensate for it with these kind of changes and things that we're making, whether that's for family members visiting us and staying with us, or us going and hanging out with my family again. And then another thing that I'm not sure will actually happen, but it sounds like my parents will actually visit us this year as well too. So that could be very, very exciting and really fun for me. I feel like I have changed so much as an entrepreneur and as a professional, and I've grown a lot in my ability professionally, and also as a father and a son. I've just grown a lot in the last couple of years. Texas has really been an amazing transition for me, and I'm really excited about being able to share that with my parents and kind of talk to them about, what I've been doing and what I've been building, and how I've evolved in my mindset and thinking, and show them some of the businesses that I've been building, and the investments that I've made, and be able to kind of like share in, the evolution that I've gone through, in my 40s. And I'm sure they care and don't care to a certain degree, but for me, I think it matters more to me than it does to them. But I'm very, very excited about it, and I think that it's something that I would really like for them to understand and know. And so this trip has been really valuable for me to realize how much I need that, even though I, logically don't. My mind says I don't. There's a lot of things in my heart that, still kind of want that understanding and connection with them. And so this year will be one of those things that I'll pivot more towards that. And I'm really glad that I made the decision as of this year's strategy to be more thoughtful about time, and time with family, and time with traveling. And yeah, it'll be really good. It'll be really interesting to see how these Girl Dad Talks evolve, because I think it's always been about business and stress of like providing and making something work. And I'm hoping it'll evolve a little bit this year to being, a more present, father, maybe even talk about health, and I really want to focus on my mental and physical health this year, and figure out how to like hack that and biohack that and optimize for it, and see if I can't use the same energy and focus that I have on business building on mental and physical health as well. And really just exploring different facets of my life, as both as a father, a husband, and a son, but also as an entrepreneur and professional, and for myself. And I'm pretty excited about, this decision to slow down the business growth plan, because it allows for me to actually open it up for some of these other things and live a more diversified life. It's funny to say that, because I've always felt like the fastest way to point A to point B is to sacrifice everything and do one thing really, really well. But in this instance, I think that I need to do it kind of in balance, because it is not as easy as it was when you were younger to risk everything and fail. It's much more painful now with, kids and responsibilities and mortgages and stuff like that. And so it's going to be really, really interesting changing my mindset to being just a little bit less aggressive and all in, so to speak. But that's kind of where my mind is at and where I'm at with my brain and my professional journey and my parenting journey. And I'm super excited to celebrate Grace's birthday. She turned 4 recently, and we're going to be celebrating multiple times with her. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. She's so cute and so amazing and just growing up so fast. And it is really sad. It's really sad. I'm not going to lie, how fast they're growing, and realizing that, the time is so fleeting that I'm going to be able to like hold and cuddle them. And it's more apparent because as Lily gets older, she does that less and less. And I'm watching Grace still being so cute and cuddly. And I'm just trying to enjoy every hug and every cuddle that I can. Because I know that as they get older, it's just going to become a little bit less and less. So I'm really trying to cherish the moments and really figure out, what that new balance is for myself. But hopefully this has been helpful for you on your journey and understanding where I'm at with my professional parenting journey on my Girl Dad show. And I really do want to unpack, maybe next time I'll talk about the podcast itself, because I do want to make this year the year that I actually like grow this thing. I want it to like be successful, not just for me and what I want for my mental health and emotional health, but also from the business side. It'd be really interesting to unpack some of the tactics and strategies that I've been employing and what I'm going to try to do this year, because I think I'm going to spend a little more time and focus on growing this one this year. So maybe I'll do that in the next Girl Dad Talk and talk about the Girl Dad show as a business and how I think about it. And I'll share some numbers and processes that I'm building, and would love your thoughts on that, but maybe I'll unpack that one next time. And without further ado, I will check in with you guys in a few weeks. I'm excited for you guys to enjoy the Girl Dad show this year. And we'll take a brief pause in June again, in between season 2 and season 3, while I kind of reset the strategy. But I'm excited to share more about the mechanics of the podcast, and maybe unpacking it will help me, succeed in it in all aspects, not just for my heart and my mind. But thank you again for your support all of last year in checking into the podcast and supporting the podcast. Please take a moment to share it with someone that you think is on this same professional parenting journey. And if you can subscribe and like, I would really appreciate it. It's much harder to run the show than I ever imagined. And, all those little things help so much more than you know. And so if you can like it, share it, comment even on any of the social posts, it'd be so helpful. And I'd be so, so grateful. Thank you again for all of your support in 2022. And I look forward to continuing this journey with you guys in 2023. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Girl Dad Show. Did you know that our website is full of really fun products, like the shirt I'm wearing? Visit thegirldadshow.com to shop our t-shirts, hats, mugs, and more. And follow our social channels to hear about our latest sales.